I'm going to go over how to buy a used motorcycle. Every single one of these bikes is used. This is everything you need to know when it comes to buying a used bike. The first thing that you should do when buying any used motorcycle is do research on that specific motorcycle. Like this bike over here is a 2006 Gixxer 1000. So what you want to do before you even go there, do research on this specific bike. If you do a little research, you'll figure out that this bike actually has 2 recalls, one on the frame and one on the brakes. That's a big deal. So just knowing stuff like that. Now, recalls can be completed for free. That's also why you get the VIN number. There's going to be a VIN number 2 times on every bike. On the neck of the bike, and on these sport bikes, it's going to be on the side of the frame. This is a Suzuki. All these are Suzuki. So what you want to do, take the VIN number and run it on their site. It's going to tell you the active recalls for that specific motorcycle. So one of the first things I did was got the VIN number from the seller and then took that VIN number and went and ran it on this website right here. What that tells me is the recalls were completed for this bike right here. So I already know that this bike passes that test. This bike over here has been dropped one time. I dropped it in my driveway. I'm going to kind of show you what that looks like and how to assess the overall condition. So one of the first things you can do is look at the engine covers. If you notice that these have been replaced or there's any scuffing under here on either side, that's a sign that it's been crashed. You're looking for scratch markings going this way or any significant damage. Usually if a bike's been dropped, there's almost always some damage on the engine covers. This bike was dropped one time in my driveway and there's a couple scuffs on here. They're light. So there's a difference between a drop and a crash. If you notice that the engine covers have been replaced, you want to look a little harder. Come to the swing arm. If you see scratches underneath going this way, the guy went around a turn and low-sided it. If you see scratches going across the swing arm like this, the guy dropped the bike and it slid in front of them. Sit on the bike. If you sit on the bike, the handlebar's slightly off or they bent or the fork's bent, that's another sign it's been wrecked. Any damage in the frame, dents, dings, cracks, especially cracks. If it's cracked, just that bike's garbage. Just next bike. And if you see deep scratching in the forks, something definitely happened. Like on this bike, first off, there's a ding in the tank where this sticker was. And then if you look on that same side and you go underneath the forks, very easy to miss. That's why you got to look pretty hard. You can see that there's some light scuffing under here. So something happened on this side. There's a ding on the tank. There's some light scuffing in the forks. And there's nothing really on the swing arm. There's like a tiny little scratch that I touched up. That's another thing. You see people, touching things up, or you see the bike has been painted. Why do people paint bikes? To hide damage. Like the tail of this bike, I actually touched it up with some paint. Again, if you see any paint that's not supposed to be there, someone else put it on there, start looking a little bit harder. And if you notice this bike has random stickers on it, that's one thing that you also want to look out for. This bike right here started pulling off some stickers and realized there's some damage that I couldn't see. Whoever had it put stickers on there and strategically covered up some damage. Now there was some stickers on the frame. However, I got pretty lucky because when I pulled them off, I was praying that there was nothing on the frame. Thank goodness it was fine. You see stickers on the frame or the swing arm or anywhere, like just randomly, start asking questions. Why is that there? Who put that on there? Maybe touch it. See if you can feel anything underneath. Maybe see if you can take them off. You can hide a lot of things. Also come to the tail of the bike. Anytime you drop or wreck a bike, usually there's going to be some scratches in the tail of the bike. Has anything been replaced? Have the fairings been swapped out? Have the graphics been replaced? Anytime someone replaces the graphics, they're almost never stock. Like you can see here, these aren't the same graphics. So when you see that, should be a red flag. Start looking a little bit harder. Were other things replaced? Is there any other damage anywhere? The reason why it's important to do research, they don't make a lot of colors for each bike. This bike right here was only made in 3 colors. Red and black, blue and white, and gray and black. Not one of those colors, you want to look a little harder. This bike was owned by the original owner for 17 years. So when you see something like this, all original, that's kind of what you're looking for. Now, I'm not saying you can't buy a project bike, but a bike with aftermarket fairings and a bunch of parts swapped out and with like 30 or 40,000 miles is not worth one that's in original condition with 11,000 miles. Mileage and condition is the most important thing. And mileage is another scam that I'll get into here in a little bit. Now, some things that you want to check out. One of the first things you could probably do, and one of the most important things of the entire bike, is the tires. There's usually a tread indicator on these things. If it starts to get flush with this tread indicator, that means you need new tires. How old are the tires? These tires are actually pretty new. They're from 2023. I forget what week they're from, but I know they're from 2023. Do some research. I'll show you right here though. It'll tell you on the side how old the tires are. If the tires are over 5 years old, they recommend to replace them. But if they're still in good shape and they're soft and they have a lot of tread, you could probably go a little over that, but that's your call. I'm not going to tell you to do that. You can also do the penny trick where you take Abe Lincoln's head. If you can see his entire head, that means that the tires are worn out and you need to replace them. Tires for a sport bike going to cost you like anywhere between $300 and $400, so maybe more. Start adding this stuff up. Fork seals. Put your hands on the forks. If you feel any oil, means the fork seals are blown. If one's blown, got to replace them both anyways. Inside of there, you have an oil seal, and if it's seeping out, that means your suspension's leaking and you need to factor in getting that fixed. You know, you could probably get away with it for a little bit, but that's something you want to fix. That's another $300 right there. So two things, tires and fork seals, $600 or $700 just for two things right there. And there can be a lot of other things wrong with it too. Another thing too is the brakes. This is an indicator to let you know that the brakes need to be replaced. Once it's flush with this little groove, similar to the tires, that means you need new brakes. You need to check that. Check the brake fluid. On this bike, the brake fluid is really old and it's actually kind of low. So the brakes need to be flushed on this bike because the fluid, you can see it's turning a dirty brown type color. That means you need new fluid. If you look at this bike, you can tell the color, the fluid is much cleaner. It needs to be more of a clearish type color, maybe a slight tinge of yellow. Check the oil. What you're looking at is the actual level. You want to be in between these lines. The top line is the maximum, the bottom line is the minimum. You definitely don't want to be below the minimum. If it's below the minimum and you're tipping the bike over and tipping it over even further than level, you don't see any oil. Personally, I'm walking away. Or look on the ground. I mean, at that point, it might be leaking. So the oil's there to protect the motor. If there's not enough in it, that's a big deal. The oil level is at a good level, like in the middle or not above the top or not below the bottom, preferably in the middle. Those are good signs. Start looking on the ground. Is it leaking any fluid, right? If you see oil on the ground, you see any coolant on the ground, and make sure you bring a flashlight with you and look inside the fairings and see if it's leaking any coolant or oil. And you can clearly see that this bike is leaking coolant. That's something I got to fix. But if you come on the water pump side and you look a little closer, you can clearly see it's leaking from the clamp or the hose. That should be a pretty simple fix, but that's something you got to check for as well. See if it's leaking any fluids. Make sure the bike is clean and it's a bright sunny day so you can actually see everything. If it's dirty, you can hide a couple things. Actually had a friend buy a dirt bike. The rims were all dirty. We cleaned them up and figured out one of the rims was cracked. So while you're down here, go ahead and just check the rims out. Make sure there's no cracks or dings or dents or anything like that. You know, a couple scratches here and there, not really a big deal. Just make sure they're not damaged or bent or anything like that. It's also a good idea to bring somebody else with you just to have a second set of eyes. You might catch a couple things that maybe you missed. So make sure you bring someone else with you. This bike already have the tank off. Maybe check out the air filter. This bike probably needs a new air filter. So check out some things like that. You might not be able to pull everything apart, but everything that you can see is kind of crucial. Check out the chain and the sprockets. Now, if it needs a new chain and sprockets or it's dirty or something like that, that's not a deal breaker, but that's just, again, that's stuff you need to know. Check out the teeth. Look for consistency. If one's like missing or one's worn out more than the others, factor in maybe you need a new chain and sprockets. That's not necessarily a deal breaker. Pretty simple, honestly, but it is nice though if you see that the seller keeps the chain clean, keeps it lubed and adjusted correctly. Should be about an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter is what it should be. So also when you sit on the bike, turn the handlebars. Do you hear any noise where the steering head bearings are? Is it like knocking or crunching or doing something weird? That's a big deal. When you move the tire side to side, is there any play? Because if there is, that means that you need wheel bearings. Now, if you've seen the chain's been maintained, it's clean, lubed, and nice, and the bike is cleaned up and looks pretty good, those are good signs. Another thing you can do, take the key and take a look inside the tank. If you have a flashlight, that would be nice right now. What you're looking for is rust in the tank. This bike I thought had rust in the tank, but some of the actual fuel is just old. Yeah, so just make sure there's no like rust or anything weird going on in the tank. If it's rusted out, could be leaking fuel, and then you have to get the tank resealed or get another tank and factor that into the price. If this is a carbureted bike, make sure the fuel is on and make sure there's nothing leaking. Now, when it comes to looking at the title, there's 3 things that you want to look at. Always ask for a picture. If it's like 4 or 5 hours away, get a picture of the title. What you're looking for, make sure the seller's name is on the title. I've ran into that like 15 times where I'm talking to the guy and realized that his name's not even on the title. It's registered in your name too?
No.
It's not? Okay.
No.
Now, I'm not saying you couldn't register the bike. If the guy has the title for that bike, even if it's not in his name, you could probably register it, but that's actually illegal. That's called title floating, title jumping. If it's not in the seller's name, I wouldn't even buy it. I'll just move on to the next bike. Also, too, make sure the bike doesn't have any liens on it. This bike over here, turned out it had a lien on the title. He didn't actually have the title. The bank had it. So if you see a lien on the title, it'll tell you at the bottom, this is not the title, or it'll say it has a lien on there. So make sure you look for that. Make sure it's clean and clear and then the person has the title. Because if they don't have the title either, the bank has the title. Once you figure out it's in his name, there's no liens on it. What you want to also do is make sure you get the VIN number. It's going to be on a bike 2 times. So make sure you match the VIN number that's on the title with the VIN number that's on the bike. If those don't match, that's not the actual title for that bike. That means that that bike's probably stolen. If that doesn't match, just move on to the next bike. Another thing too that you need to check is the odometer. You can see that there's a bolt there. If that bolt's been replaced, if it's not stock, which I've seen that a couple times, I've actually even seen them missing. Like this odometer says it has 8,000 miles, but I don't think it has 8,000 miles. I don't know for sure, but the reason why I don't think it has 8,000 miles, like if you see over here, there's some scratching in there. That's what I'm saying. Start touching that. Why is that there? How did that happen? This guy told me that a cat jumped up on the tank and scratched the odometer.
I came out one time and there was a cat sitting on a seat. What's wrong with a cat?
A cat scratched the odometer. I mean, at least tell me something better than that, because that definitely did not happen. But that's what he told me. That's what I'm saying. That's why you ask a lot of questions. You're like, that's weird. There's usually a bolt. This one is extremely hard to detect because there is no bolt that you can see in plain sight. It's very easy to mark up that bolt too. So if you see that there's any turning, it looks like someone was trying to turn it off, like there's any marks or damage or anything like that, that odometer was probably swapped. Like this bike I've seen where I'm looking and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not even the stock bolt. That's not the stock bolt for that cluster. Matter of fact, I've even seen one that has an 08 cluster on an 06, and then the swing arms painted, all these different things. He's saying it has 12,000 miles or whatever. I'm like, that bike 100% does not have the miles that you're claiming. Well, can't you just look at the title? Actually, no, you can't. Not always. This bike is not tracked anymore because it's over 10 years old. This bike over here, same thing. This bike is from West Virginia. In West Virginia, you don't have to track it after 10 years, just like Pennsylvania. So this might say it has 8,000 miles, but if it has 50,000 miles, 50,000 mile motorcycle is not worth as much as an 8,000 mile motorcycle. You don't know this type of stuff, really you get screwed. Let's say the odometer swap, fairings replaced, and it needs 3 or 4 things. That really changes the value. Like this guy's bike, this is an 07 Gixxer 600. First off, he paid $7,100 for this bike. It has aftermarket fairings. He brought it home, figured out after he took off the tank cover, figured out it had more damage on the tank. It needed a clutch, a stator, a rectifier. That really changes the value. That guy got scammed. That's why research is important. I personally don't care that much about miles. I care more about condition and how it was taken care of and how it was ridden. That's another thing. If it's a track bike, 20,000 miles on the track is different than 20,000 miles on the highway. Ways you can tell if it's been tracked, it'll be pretty obvious. It'll be safety wired. Personally, I wouldn't want a track bike because I know that they're ridden hard, but usually the people that own track bikes, I will say, do take care of their bike, but they are ridden much harder. The harder they're ridden, the shorter the life of the engine is. What's more important than mileage is how it was ridden and maintained and the overall condition. While you're looking at all this, you're also asking the seller questions. Why are you selling it? How long have you had it? How often you riding it? Why are you selling it? If the guy's story makes sense, then hey, there you go. You can kind of go from there. But if he just got it and had it for a month and flipping it and doesn't have his name on the title, that's always a red flag. That means you got to look 15 times as hard. Seller's the one that's going to lie. The bike is not going to lie. That's why it's important to know what it looks like from the showroom floor. Big deal. Now it's time to take it for a test ride. So when you start it, is it making any noises, right? It hasn't been warmed up. If it's been warmed up, proceed with caution. If you hear any engine noises like knocking, doing any weird things, is it making any noise? Like if you hear a tapping noise at the top of the motor, that means that the valves are going out of whack. If it's harder to start, it's also a sign that the valves are going out of whack. This one had bad fuel pump, so the engine was running rough and it actually started knocking. That's what I'm saying. Make sure it's a cold start, because sometimes you can hide things like that when it's warmed up. You know, if it's carbureted, it's only running on the choke or something like that, consider getting the carburetors cleaned and tuned. Now in the past I said, hey, you just want to take it, you know, about a mile or so, but I actually disagree with that now that I bought both of these bikes. Get in the power band. Make sure you puncture all the gears and get in the power band a little bit. Let off. Do it a couple times. Make sure it's not sputtering. Is there a fueling issue? You're listening to noises. Is it knocking? Is it sputtering? Is it doing anything weird? Is it when you get into the power, are the RPMs revving up but it doesn't have the power it should? That means the clutch is slipping. Is it hard to get into gear? That could indicate there's a problem with the clutch or the transmission, more likely the clutch. So you're trying to just determine all these things, bring it back, and then walk around it again. Make sure there's no fluid on the ground. It might not be leaking when it's cold. You get home, might be leaking. I rode this bike down the road and brought it back and it felt fine, but after bringing it home and actually riding it, I realized this bike won't rev out past 5,000 RPMs. It's misfiring, making engine noise. All these problems started happening. This bike literally ran for 24 hours. So make sure that you test ride it. Go through a thorough test ride, at least like 10 minutes. If you hear any knocking or ticking or anything weird like that, that's something that you need to know and could be a sign to walk away. The more information you know, the less likely you are to get scammed. Now's a good time to check the electronics. You want to test the charging system. A way to test that is turn the key and rev up the bike. You should see the light kind of raise a little bit. If it's not doing that, it could be a problem with the charging system. 06, 07, 600, 750 is a good example of that. You want to check the electricals on every bike, but really check the electricals on that bike. It fries stators and rectifiers and can actually burn up the battery too. Sometimes it can actually overcharge and actually fry all the electricals and make its way to the ECU and fry that too. So that's a big deal. That's why it's important to research the bike you're buying, because you can get on top of those things. The 06 is notorious for burning up stators and rectifiers. So those are things you need to know. Make sure the turn signals are working on both sides. You can also check the hazards. Make sure those are working. Beep the horn. Check the high beam, low beam in the front. Also prime the fuel pump. Make sure it sounds like it should. You can hear it priming. Check the brakes. Make sure the brake light's coming on. Rear brake, make sure it's coming on for that too. If you turn the key, some bikes have an FI light. Those are your fuel injection codes. So if you see it's on, that means there's something going on with the bike. A lot of times, you know, if the guy got a full exhaust and maybe the FI light's on, that usually means that he got an exhaust and removed the little exhaust flap. But you need to figure out why that light's on. Maybe he can put it in dealer mode and actually send you a picture of the codes. That would be nice before you actually buy it, and then it's your problem. And you also need photos that are separate from the ad. Don't let them send you the same photos from the ad. I've seen, especially with these old bikes, a lot of sellers are going to take those 10 or 15 footers and not show you all the damage. So before you even go, especially if you're driving far, make sure you get photos. You need a close-up of the forks, the swing arm, the engine covers on both sides. You see any damage there, that bike has been down. If they're far away, get them on the phone. Don't be asking everything over text, because it's easy to just, you know, you send me a text message, I don't know the answer, I'm going to just either look it up, wait 15 minutes, and then send you what you want to hear. I can send you whatever you want to hear. Get them on the phone, or if they're kind of close, save some questions in person. This bike had a Yoshi exhaust on it. One of the first questions I asked is that a full exhaust? Doesn't know. Does it have a power commander? Not sure. How often you ride it? Oh, I don't really ride it. How many miles would you say you put on it? Maybe 50 miles on it. Never tagged it, never rode it, doesn't know one thing about it. And then I find out the guy warmed it up. You see that? Also proceed with caution. You can hide a lot of things when you warm bikes up. That's why you ask a lot of questions. Don't think it's perfect. Never ever go into these older bikes and think it's perfect. This bike ran for literally like 24 hours. What kept me looking at this bike was the overall condition. That's why I said it's so important to know everything. Like this bike right here, I know every color, every graphic, every fairing, every bolt, everything. I know everything about this bike. So there's no way that you could lie to me. I already kind of have an advantage coming in. I always more photos and ask a lot of questions.